Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using island cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, tasted their food and everything, we definitely use them again because their service and food is just awesome.
I have a question for you. Yes. Would you rather have...
Babe, I forgot the ice. I'll be right back.
Okay. Get some snacks too.
Okay.
Hey, excuse me, sir. Did you forget something?
Actually, yes, we forgot a bag of ice for our drinks.
Worth one pobetsu. We could take care of that for you. Follow me. You said you needed ice?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else you needed?
Yes, maybe some snacks.
Sure. Okay, your order's complete, sir. Your order should be here shortly.
All right, great. Thank you.
Sir, here's your order.
All right. Suzuos Masi.
One pobetsu.
The pompous
and elite wish we go away.
because we are
Real and direct.
no interest owns us.
And we have no interest but
The truth. Together we are exposing.
corruption.
Together we will reform criminal justice
Together.
We are fighting violence.
against women and children.
We here at
Kandit
We'll shine the light.
on every corner of darkness.
Together, we are giving a voice
to the voiceless.
and forgotten.
Stay lit.
Together.
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 We are giving a voice to the voiceless and forgotten.
We are Kandit News Group.
I just want to tell you guys that I'm very much in tune with what my expenses are as governor. I am very much knowledgeable about where our revenue sources are coming from. I'm very much knowledgeable about our collection, and our collection are very good. We're seeing an increase in collection in comparison to the previous administration.
Okay, you're good. Sorry.
Buenas, Marianas, and Micronesia. I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Franklin Meno, aka Bunker.
Welcome to our studios,
Welcome,
Thank you for
Bunker.
having me, Troy.
Thank
Johnny?
you so much for coming. I like your getup. I like
Love
your
it.
getup. You know what? One of the
What you
things
see,
that
what you get.
So thank you for that. So Franklin J. Meno, aka Bunker, is a Democratic candidate for senator.
What number on the ballot?
Number 7.
You're number 7.
Numero
Nice.
siete.
Lucky number 7.
I think that's Governor Carl Gutierrez's favorite number.
Number 7.
Yeah, I think that's his favorite.
Lucky
He
number 7.
always has 7, and yeah,
Nice.
I think so.
Nice.
You're from Inarajan?
I'm from Maleso, living in Inarajan. So yes, I
Hey,
guess
that's
I'm
my
from Inarajan.
Marito's my hometown.
I
Familian
yes,
Doma.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, you know my family?
Yes, sir.
You ever hear of Tomas Doma?
Yes.
He had children in Inarajan too, just not with my great grandmother.
Story on Guam.
Well, thank you so much for joining. This is Chalaquiles Coffee and Change.
Yes.
Where we're going to mix the news in with our interview with senatorial candidates. We've only invited new candidates running for office onto our show. I think we do intend to invite a few of the very few of the incumbents who we like.
Yes.
Because we are candid, we are biased. We have our agenda,
Yes.
and it's an agenda of justice and truth. It's really
Yes,
what
sir.
it is. But I want to say so. Tonight we were supposed to have Democratic Party Chairwoman Sarah Thomas Nedadog talking to us, and she asked for the questions. I said, I'm sorry, we don't give questions, but I'll give you the topic areas. And I gave her the topic areas, and they were the achievements of the Democrats as the party in power, shortcomings that the Democrats have, and are the new candidates like you, Bunker, going to help to shore up those shortcomings. We wanted to discuss corruption by leaders in both parties, basically the Calvo administration and the Leandro administration, party infighting in the Democratic Party and hopes for the future. What is the vision of Democratic candidates? And an hour after I sent her this message, she said, I respectfully decline the interview, and this was just yesterday afternoon, and so I told Johnny, Eric, Jacob, and so Johnny reached out to you this morning,
Yes.
and just at the last minute, you didn't even have our topics. We gave you the topics at the very last minute.
Just here.
Right here.
Here,
When he was
tonight.
here. Oh, because he didn't look at his phone, right?
No, the message didn't go through.
didn't go through.
But on my phone, it shows it went, but he didn't get it on his phone.
I need to complain about my phone because it seems to be acting like Lou, not deciding on the spot. It takes time.
You're not afraid of getting in trouble by the Democratic Party?
If I'm lying, maybe, but since I'm telling some of the things are true, I think it's okay. To be honest,
What I want to say is
and I'm not afraid. No,
it is amazing, I think, that, it says something, I think, that the person in charge of the Democratic Party does not want to address these questions and have these questions in advance,
Yes.
and you didn't have the topics in advance, but you were like, yeah, I'll go on the show.
I'll be there.
I'm
He
down.
don't even want it. He said, no, we can just discuss whatever you want. I don't want to prepare myself. I want to be me.
Random.
This is awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. And so thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah.
And we have, so 76 didn't have Chalaquiles
No.
or Skadu?
I didn't check that.
Oh, okay. So
I'm sorry.
You wiped it out with the other.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, I think at a certain time they won't have
stopped.
the soup anymore.
Yeah.
But we did get you hot tea, right? You have hot tea or coffee?
Coffee.
I got him coffee.
Oh, you have coffee.
Coffee.
Well, I have hot tea. I have English breakfast black tea.
And then I have the bush.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Well, check this out. So Johnny was the one who went to get everything, and they have these sleeves. I guess you can get a vote Trump or vote Biden.
Yes.
She got all of us vote Trump. sleeves. And we won't say what Bunker said you can put on the side to make it a Biden sleeve. So
No, that wasn't Bunker. That was Eric.
Oh, that was Eric?
That was Eric.
Yeah, we won't say what Eric said then. Because it's not fit. It's not fit for the kids.
Yeah.
So
Can we say happy birthday?
It might get
yes,
touchy.
absolutely.
Let's say happy birthday to our girlfriend,
Evelyn Solis is 16 today.
Yay,
Happy
Evelyn.
birthday,
Happy
Evelyn.
birthday, Evelyn.
So I would not have known it was Evelyn's birthday until I saw Evelyn is freaking cuxica, man. She's had this long-standing feud with her ex-husband, and so she put something on her Facebook page,
Right.
and it's this bunch of messages between her and her ex-husband Rodney, and it's really funny. They like cut each other low back and forth. It's pretty.
Yeah.
And what did
Evelyn's actually been a follower of Kandit for
since
a very
ever since
long
ever
time.
since
Yeah.
I've known
From the
Evelyn for years
beginning.
actually.
Yeah.
She's a tough cookie.
Me too.
Yes.
She used to call the governor's office, and like if I didn't have an answer for her right away, man, she would get so mad at me. I'd be like, Evelyn, I just can't get this right now. You just asked me 2 minutes ago, and she's like, I don't even know why we the taxpayers are paying you.
Happy birthday, Evelyn.
Happy birthday,
Ouch.
Evelyn. I know. No,
Happy
she's
birthday,
tough.
Evelyn.
She's tough. All right. So these are the things that we wanted to talk about with Sarah Thomas and Doug. But since she's not here, we're going to talk about them anyway.
Right.
The show must go on.
Yeah, these topics do not yield
Yeah.
to anybody. And so we were going to talk about the achievements of the Democrats under the Leon Guerrero administration and the Munya Barnes speakership. But hey, that ain't Kandit's job to come up with the list of achievements. That was
Yeah.
Sarah Thomas and her dog's job. So we're going to skip that.
Right.
Yes.
You know, you had an opportunity to talk about your party's achievements. Sorry. If you're not on our show, you're not going to
done.
be. You're not, because we're not going to do your job
Right.
and list your achievements.
Yeah.
The next thing we wanted to talk about was corruption. Corruption in both parties. And to be fair to Sarah, you know, we were going to tell her that we have been most vocal about the corruption under the Calvo administration.
Yes.
And so, and I think a lot of people felt that way, and that's why they voted for Lou Leon Guerrero,
Right.
because she
They're
was
tired
not
of corruption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so what I wanted to ask Sarah, and what I'm going to ask you is how will Democrats reconcile this to voters over the next 2 years? You know, when you see things like bond money going into a trustee account at the Bank of Guam that Miss Leon Guerrero's family owns.
Conflict of interest in all sorts of levels. In my
So you
opinion.
can't even reconcile it. It's just
No, I mean, well, that's a tough question. I guess no would be the answer.
okay.
But we should. I don't think that she should have any control of that money while it's sitting in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know banking per se. But she's the governor, and it's sitting in her family's bank.
There's something wrong there.
Based on that alone, that's conflict of interest.
Yeah. Would you ask questions if you were?
I
a
would.
senator?
I'd be like, yes, I would. I mean, why are we putting it in your family's bank?
There's
Yeah.
other banks
How
here.
come Bank Pacific didn't get it? How come Community First or the other banks that are here serving
Yeah.
the needs of the people?
And do it up front so that you don't. There's people can't say there's a conflict of interest.
Yes, accountability and transparency
Right.
in all your actions, or in this matter, her lack of action.
And then there's the Pacific Star Hotel situation, the emergency procurement.
Yes.
Turns out that there's a $32 million mortgage that Pacific Star has with Bank of Guam. It just stinks of holy hell. So,
I'm not a Stephen Hawking's kind of guy, but that's common sense that something ain't right.
Franklin or Bunker, what's your background?
Well, I come from humble beginnings, sir.
Okay, all right,
And I spent my life in the tourist industry and
Okay.
recycling too in the
Okay.
recent years.
awesome.
He has a great story about
I have
his home.
what I bring
Well,
to the
tell
table
us your
is I
story.
know struggle for real, and I worked hard most of my life recycling, paid off my home by
Nice.
hard work, not laziness. So
Nice.
there's that, and then I own 10 dogs.
So you're a dog lover.
A dog lover,
Amen, brother.
animal lover. I
Amen.
care about all the animals.
Thank you.
Yeah,
for
Jacob
doing that.
says just by watching Bunker, his neck is hurting because the Sanaa, he's nice.
How
Yeah.
how heavy is that thing?
It's, I would say, good 3-4 pounds.
Is that a clamshell? That's a
Yes,
clamshell?
sir.
And why are you running for senator?
I'm fed up with people complaining about the lack of action, and then when COVID hit, which was totally unexpected, it just showed true colors of the people who we elected to help the needs of the people. And in all the 30 years I've been voting easily, what I've come to fruition is there's so much corruption, and we keep trying it, and it just seems to be insane that because it's not working. We keep choosing people who are already well off to be our leader. They offer promises and don't deliver. Then right around, and I'm just being honest about this, right around election season, they start to hone up to some of those promises just for votes. And then when the votes are casted and the winner doesn't hone up to their promises. I've heard those promises multiple times in my life. Just being a humble guy from the South, had no aspirations of being a politician, not even a little bit. But being fed up of hearing the complaints from family, from people who are hurt or been offered promises, things of that nature. I heard it my whole life. And I'm especially fed up because Lou has the power and can change and the capacity to change and chose not to. This COVID was a chance for her to prove that she does no struggle, and yet nothing.
Wow.
I have a family member who still hasn't received anything. Went through the motions and still haven't. I don't know what I could do anymore from there.
I've dealt with Bunker on a personal level when people needed food.
Oh, when you were doing the drive.
When I was doing the drive, that's how I met him.
Okay.
When he called my cell phone, he's like, Johnny, hey, I'm in Iran, but I can meet you at the store to give you the food.
Yes.
So the way he spoke to me was like he knew me. So automatically I'm like, oh, okay. So I hang up the phone. I said, and then my partner's like, who is that? I said, oh, it's somebody that wants to donate food. Okay, so and then he's like, you didn't ask who it was? No, can we just go? Right, because the way he spoke to me on the phone, like he knew me, right?
Yes.
So, Bunker was one of them who donated a cartload of food and didn't want to be recognized. So, if anybody can attest to Bunker's heart, I thank you so much.
I would give my last dollar if it needed to save someone's life.
Well, I just love what you just said about your reason for running for senator. It couldn't be more clear than that. So thank you so much for making that so clear. Sandra Rages, Republican candidate for senator, says, oh, there's definitely corruption. Hi, Denise Legaspi, who says hi to all of us.
Hi, Denise.
Jacob Nakamura says, maybe they didn't have any achievements for her to talk about. That's why she wouldn't come on the show. There is, it's no secret that there is big infighting within the Democratic Party. Why did you choose to be Democrat, by the way, to run as a Democrat?
Well, currently the way our election system works, if you don't choose a party, you might not receive enough support.
Okay.
As an independent, it might be it's like trying to swim against the current.
Okay.
That's the main reason why I chose a party, and Democrat was the first choice, so I just went with it.
So you're not like a party loyalist or anything like that?
No, I'm a people loyalist.
Okay.
I'm for the people, not for left wing, right wing, same bird, bro.
Oh, yeah, especially on Guam.
You know what I mean?
I never heard that before, but yeah.
I like that one. You know what I mean? I like that one. At the end of the day, we need to work together.
So, but you see the infighting that's happening in the Democratic Party, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any comments about that?
I would rather just, wait for the dust to clear and see who makes it out in the end.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Let's see what comments we have going on here. Richard Leon wants to hear more about the Amagwin story. We will get to that. That will be part of our discussion tonight regarding police corruption. Vanessa Navarro says, Biba Bunker.
Viva!
That's her sister.
Hey, sister.
David Lebowski says, grassroots background, not silver spoon background, does not act entitled. Bren Acavera says, yep, nothing but greed, so true. Agreeing with what you were saying. Nancy Roberson says, God bless Bunker with his boots if he is wearing that. Are you wearing boots?
No, it's prosthetic.
He is prepared because the weather has been bipolar. Rain, shine, God bless. Rosalind and Michael Cruz say, agree. Conflict of interest between Governor Lulu Bell and Bank of Guam. Why is Gov Guam not giving other banks a fair chance to do business with Gov Guam? Well, I think we all know the answer to that.
Yeah. A $20 million transaction fee for the first set of money she got.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if I'm not mistaken.
David Lebowski says, you need those boots at the legislature with all the shiz you will have to walk through there. Nancy Roberson says, yes, that is a beautiful dress. Colors are nice.
Oh, thanks,
Johnny.
thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yeah. Good one.
Hey, Rodney's watching. Rodney Akima.
What's up, Rodney?
What's up, Cello?
Yeah, I went to school with both of them.
Okay, all right. So, and then the other one was hopes for the future. But you know what? Sarah Netterdog can
answer that herself.
Right? If she's not here to answer it, then we're not going to answer it.
I mean, we as a people, we have hopes for the future.
But do they align with the Democratic Party?
I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
And I guess when we say, in fairness to Bunker, who's who is that
Democrat.
he's not a loyalist, but he's a Democrat, right?
Yeah. So are we. We
it's-
registered as
Oh,
Democrats.
that's right. I'm a registered
Yeah,
Democrat.
we are. You are no longer a
Hey.
Republican.
I'm a registered Democrat as I sip the tea at the Trump. All right. A couple of quick questions, yes or no, and you can give your reason for yes or no. But what's your? I mean, are you for gambling, against gambling?
Initially, I was against. Yeah, I'm against gambling.
Okay.
And then I heard a testimony from Miss Berdalio.
Vanessa Berdalio recently.
Yes, and very articulate in
Okay.
her delivery, and I saw a positive in it. I can't say that it will work because I don't see that far into the future, but the jobs that will be taken away, they're taxpayers,
Okay.
right? But the families that are hurt, it's complicated for me
Okay.
because I feel for people who don't have jobs, and then we're gonna stop the gambling and put those people out of job. And the gambling is not really the problem; it's the player.
Okay.
You know, the game is not healthy if you're addicted. And I played that game, but I'm not addicted. I just walk away when it's time to walk away. But the families that are hurt is where my heart would choose not to make gambling legal
Okay.
because of the families.
So right now, so before you heard Vanessa Bordalio's testimony
Yeah.
regarding the employees
I was
of these
against gambling.
of this industry, right?
Yes.
So it was yes, this is it's going to have an impact on families, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Then you heard Ms. Bordalio's testimony, and you thought, you feel bad for the employees of these
Right.
gaming places, right?
Yes.
So you haven't firmed up a position on this yet?
No. I want to lean towards making it illegal
Okay.
and help the families recover.
Will you have a firmed up position by election day, you think? So you can tell the people what your position is?
I probably will have. I think Chris might ask me that question in the next couple of days. I was against it, and not necessarily for it either. But I'm looking at it from a bigger perspective.
Okay.
Aside from families being hurt, and my heart goes out to them. About those people that have the job, they have families too.
Okay.
Just on that point.
Okay.
That's the only reason why I'm conflicted.
Fair enough. Let's go on to the Medical Malpractice Mandatory Arbitration Act. You've heard us talk about it
Yes.
many times. Do you know this? You know the story.
With Asher Dean, right?
What's your position on it?
Well, I feel that GRMC has a bunch of doctors that don't know what they're doing. I'm a victim of that. I seriously believe that I lost my right leg for their poor performance and treatment when I went there the first time.
So you're on David Lebowski's side on this issue.
Yes,
Okay.
I think we should change the arbitration laws
Okay.
so that we can go after them for their mistakes.
Okay.
Can't let them get away with hurting people with negligence.
Okay.
I
Excellent.
personally think that's negligent.
Thank you for being very clear on those two
And thanks
topics.
for following Mr. Lebowski's story and the others, Monica De Vera and the Taidequis.
Now we're going to go into our stories, and as we go into these stories, they touch on the topic areas that we're going to ask you about, because now we have current events that are relevant to these topic areas, like public corruption, police corruption, crimes against women and children, and yeah, actually that's really what it is. The first story is coming from Congressman Michael Nicholas. Last week, I think it was Friday, if I'm not mistaken, he put out a news release, right? That he wants Governor Lulian Guerrero to use CARES Act funding, originally $118 million in it. I believe $40 million was tucked away for a couple of programs that did help the people, right?
Yeah.
The rest of it was budgeted for really stupid things, stupid purchases
Gucci
within
bag.
the government of Guam.
Bag for the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, $800 laptop.
And some of
bag.
these people that get that can afford to buy that on their own.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know.
And so, but what Mike Nicholas is saying is, hey, look, Governor, the Pennsylvania state government came up with a program where they're using this same pot of money, or the same kind of money, CARES Act direct aid funding to the government of the states and territories, to provide grants to small businesses with qualified workers, frontline workers,
Right.
in a bunch of different fields. Basically, the people who during the coronavirus pandemic have been in interaction the most with people. So like your grocery store workers and
cashiers.
stuff like that,
Yes.
right? There's a whole bunch people who so they're called essential frontline workers, right? And
Right.
there's a whole list that the congressman provides. He says, Governor, why don't you create this program on Guam so that you can, instead of paying for all these things in the government, private sector workers can get a bump in pay.
Right.
Basically, hazard pay for private sector workers.
For leaving the safety of their home during the pandemic.
Yeah. And so your thoughts.
I love it. I
I think
love
it's
it.
a great idea.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things happen since Mike took charge of the situation. He came through with a bunch of stuff for the people of Guam, and I think it's our governor that's holding back a lot.
Well, you just took the question right on. I was going to ask, what do you think of the governor never listening to the congressman about?
You know, it's refusing to. For me, in my opinion, it's about they don't want to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
And just take all the credit, and they don't do anything.
You know, before the interview started, Bunker was like, "Hey, don't go too hard on me, okay? But I'm ready. I'm ready." And I go, "Just answer the questions directly." And he was like, "What you see is what you get."
Yeah,
You know,
what
I'm
you
not
see
going
is
to
what you get.
sugarcoat anything.
No.
Like he hasn't sugarcoated that damn
I love
thing.
it. I love it.
It's what
But I do.
I basically am the voice of the what people think. I'm the one that can speak for them. They want to say it,
Love
but they're
it.
either afraid or,
Yeah.
you know.
We need that. We really need
So-
new leaders.
Like my cousin Sandra said, the voice of the people.
Oh, Sandra's your cousin?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Jacob Nakamura said, well, Bunker just got my vote.
Nice.
You know, Jacob is a real
He's a real a-hole.
a-hole.
Yeah.
So it's very
read
hard.
some stuff.
Yes.
It's very hard to
And
get.
we need people like him.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get Jacob to like someone.
Can you imagine?
But when he dislikes someone,
It's straight up. No sugarcoating there either, right? It's time to hurt feelings, man.
Claire Castro says, if Sarah had an interview and it turned out like Dom, Kandit will be fair and give a second chance, right, team?
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
actually, yeah. Rudy Magalana says, Troy, may you ask Bunker what's his ideas on the homeless situation?
When it all started, I have a friend who works. We're the team that were setting up the homeless here in Paseo, and I thought that was a good move to provide a safe haven for them. They should have all been tested on the spot, and then isolated if needed. But then Lou pulls the plug.
Yeah.
Right, and I believe that would have saved more money that they were setting up over there instead of renting hotels.
Yeah.
That's just in my opinion. But I'm glad that they're in a safe place and they're taken care of. So there's that. Because we're not out of COVID yet, man. It's not as bad here as far as cases, but that don't mean that we're out of the woods.
Yeah.
You know, we're all still...
The homeless people, that's a vector where the disease can spread very rapidly. Dr. Vince Akimoto was actually very concerned about that.
I have to agree with that because they're for whatever reason that their backs against the wall and became homeless, drugs or just bad choices or lazy and unsanitary, they're likely to get sick easier than people who go home and shower and stuff like that. So,
and are not always together.
Yeah. Those guys band together. And
Do you support besides the COVID and being homeless? Do you support programs that would get them back into work and
absolutely
back
reintegrate
into
back into society?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, in some cases, I offered during my recycling days. I offered if I describe her, everybody know who I'm talking about. I thought it was a male, but it's female. It's wore the beanie cap and would.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So
is she still?
I don't know if she died or I haven't seen her. So maybe
I know her like complexion
more
got worse
sickly,
and worse. Yeah,
right, or passed away.
and she got thinner and thinner. Yeah.
And you know that I used to do drugs in my younger days.
Okay.
So that's a drug situation she had going on. But then again, we don't know what they're going through.
What triggered
Most
that?
importantly, we don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But her attitude while asking for help hardens the giving nature of the people of Guam. Because we're all giving nature naturally. We just feel like helping.
Yeah.
Most of us, anyway. And I got bottled water. And when you gas at Mobile, you get the coupon for free nuggets.
Yeah.
So I gave her like a 6-pack. I was handing her a 6-pack of water and a whole bunch of that lasts her a week. Because I don't eat at McDonald's. It's not healthy for me. But I gas and collect it and I hand it to her and he goes, I don't need that, was her reaction. And I said, ma'am, without any disrespect towards you as a person, if you could stand here all day and ask for money, I think you can bag groceries over at Payless.
Well,
in that regard.
I think there are a lot of, I think actually that's a reasonable person's thought process.
Of course,
Right.
of course.
And let's be reasonable.
Yeah.
If you can stand here all day in the hot sun, it's safe to say that maybe Payless might hire you and you just bag or sweep or clean up at after hours, whatever.
Actually, work it costs you less. They give you a raise during the pandemic.
Right.
No, there are programs in the States, guys, that
Yes, in the States.
that they employ the homeless people to pick up the trash around the city.
Yes.
And they get paid good money. And
So-
these are homeless people and they choose to be homeless.
Yeah.
But that's who they employ, and those are some of the programs that can happen here.
Yeah, like in terms of tax, I wouldn't mind paying a little bit more tax if it was going to something positive in that regard, or like healthcare and things like that. If we took more money out from my pocket, and it went into the programs that would make it better for
Supposed
less
to go-
fortunate people,
right.
then take $5 more.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about that. And thank you for that opening. As a senator, you got this budget pie of $10. What are your fiscal priorities? What's going to be, this number one, this is going to be done, and number two, this is going to be funded. What's your? Do you have a priority list or at least a pot of priorities?
Are you talking about with the pandemic or?
No, you
just
as a senator.
overall government budgeting.
And I had $10.
Yeah.
I'll make sure everybody on the island is secured and have something to eat.
Okay, so social services would
Social
be
services should be elevated.
okay.
Everybody goes through struggle.
Okay.
Cost of living in Guam is really high. So if I would prioritize the social services, education.
Okay.
Yeah. I would take a pay cut to save the government
Okay.
easily. I think this governor should have rescinded some. This may cost me votes, but being honest about how we could have saved this government was to start where to trim the fat, and then offering them when we get back to normal, then we resume from here. But for now, we need your help to contribute to save ourselves. We need to all hands in.
You're talking about something similar to what the CNMI government did, where they
Yeah.
started to cut back on personnel.
Yeah, I think we should have. If we're going to save this government, we only have $10. We got to make sure that the $10 fits where the things that matter: safety, our first responders, the hospital,
Okay.
things like that. But tomorrow's not here yet, so every day changes. Everything changes every day, and the longer we're in COVID, the more uncertain it might. My hopes for the future here is the tourism revives, and people get back to work. But that's ahead of us, right?
A lot of people are suffering right now.
And there's so many
Our
people.
chicken farm.
And then would like to see Guam in the future, in the near future, producing our own produce like eggs, or even like working out a deal with Tinian, since they have a lot of land, to raise the beef up there.
So the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, put the slaughterhouse up there in Tinian, since they're not overly populated like Guam. Because the slaughterhouse in Guam will just stink out everybody out of their yard, because the poop's got to go somewhere, right? That's the main reason.
I didn't even think of that.
Okay. To save Guam a bunch of money, there's the independence, so that we can self-govern.
So you're in favor of independence.
If we can get independence, and we elect good leaders, it should work out for the people of Guam.
See, that 50% of what you just said is not going to ring true for me.
That's fine.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But I hope to hear what you think would be better, because we can come to the middle. You have your opinion and I have mine. We agreed and disagreed, but we need to work towards something better for the people of Guam. And then there's statehood. You can't charge imported price on domestic product. The cost of living in Guam is high.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest reason why people will struggle. at $8.45 an hour, plus rent, plus this, plus kids, plus school, this, that.
Oh, minimum wage will never cover.
Never cover it
Yeah,
here.
will never cover without
But
social
in the
services.
States, wage, when your dozen of eggs is only 69 cents. When your milk's $1.09. Pretty sure you can make it
I think milk these days is like
$5.
$5.99.
$6,
Yes.
depending on the brand.
Charlie Hermosa is asking, are you in favor of lowering the cost to incorporate new companies on Guam and make the registration process easier? So I guess it's a two-part question.
Elaborate a little bit on that.
So the lowering the cost to incorporate new companies on Guam, I think there are fees.
Yeah, how we started, we had to pay all these fees and do
Oh, like
all these processes.
GRTs? Or?
No.
Like,
When we started our Kandit, right, we had to do our bylaws. We had to do all of that. And when we filed it at Revenue and Tax, we had to pay all these fees, right?
Okay.
We also
and,
had to
and
pay.
the cost of articles of incorporation
Right.
is expensive.
Yeah,
as
you have to
well.
get it notarized. You have to get this. You have to do all of these processes to become a small business
And
owner.
then you can't open until you
You
have
have that
all
all
of these
set
up. The five
permits and
step.
And that's if you're an outsider coming in?
No, anybody opening a business here.
any new
Any new company.
Wow.
There's a lot of processes to open a company here.
I did not know that. I opened a landscaping and clean yard service, and I just paid for the.
That's a little easier. So if
Yeah.
it's like a sole proprietorship, it's much easier. But if it's a corporation,
LLC or DBA type of company.
Yeah.
LLC or
Corporation.
INC,
Incorporation.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's a lot
Costly.
harder. Yes.
And if you have an office,
Sounds like a
especially if
deterrent
you're gonna-
for some people.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Especially if you're gonna open a restaurant.
So
It's
yeah,
hell.
I say get rid of that, and
Streamline
collect the
it.
taxes when they make money.
Okay.
Amen,
Okay. So
yeah.
streamlining of the process. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that
Appreciate
would be a
that.
smarter move. Okay, you open up, and when you start making your money, we expect you to pay. And that's another problem. We need to start collecting more effective collecting on taxes.
You know, that was one of the. So when the governor was asked during the election, right, like, what are you gonna do to fix the finances? The number one thing she said was collect.
Right.
But
for who?
you know what? Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
No,
because the cigarette taxes.
Sorry,
from the
not
big
sorry.
Companies.
No, but
hasn't
she
collected
also
it yet.
remember we chased. She ran away from us when we were asking her about those two
Yeah, that's
people
embarrassing
that
for me.
she allowed to skimp out on the taxes. And
Yep.
we're not talking thousands of dollars, Bunker. We're talking
Millions.
in the millions.
Yes, and I'm not gonna say names, but there's a family that evaded a $2 million tax, and he bilked the people for services, but then got away with it. That's not fair.
You know what's so sad? Is that there are so many. I don't even know. I couldn't even pinpoint which family you're talking, which guy you're talking about.
Yeah, so I,
'Cause there's a
without saying their name out loud,
Yeah.
maybe I should just go for it. I think
No, you don't worry.
You don't
just
have to.
because you already know, right? It's like I'm singing to the choir in that regard. But that's not fair because the people that are working meager wages, minimum wage or whatever they make, pay a lot of taxes, and especially if they have kids, and they have to pay it.
Mm-hmm.
But a guy who's wealthy, what's his excuse not to pay his taxes?
Right.
Our collection process needs to be overhauled. And this pandemic, I heard if the employer didn't file for the PUA and the PPP, they're supposed to cut his business license until he does.
No, they didn't do that.
They didn't do that.
Michael San Nicolas, Congressman San Nicolas, said that the legislature should do these rules, put these rules in place so that can happen.
Right.
So it doesn't give the people who are struggling a hard time getting that help.
Yeah,
And they didn't listen to him.
Because they didn't want to give him any credit. That's my opinion.
You have two Democratic colleagues who are incumbent senators who take a similar position to you in as far as accountability goes. Senators Sabina Perez and Therese Terlahi just introduced a bill. You like them?
I love those two, dude.
They just introduced Bill 386, which would curve the governor's emergency procurement power. So they straight up said in their news release, taking from the lessons that we've seen over the past few months with the government of Guam and this shady procurement of hotels and all that, we've now introduced this bill to curb the governor's powers because everyone should be accountable.
And it's still in its introductory phase. Now it's up to the other ones to do their job.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know how long it's gonna, if it's even gonna make it to the floor.
We will know when the session goes into effect who's for who.
Would your name be on that bill if you were a member of the legislature right now?
Absolutely.
All right.
No hesitation.
Thank you so much for that.
I think the governor's powers should be limited, especially in a pandemic.
Ray Gibson, you listen to 93.3 FM in the morning,
every
right?
now and then, yeah.
Cousin Ray says that these two senators should go further and limit the governor's complete emergency powers.
In an emergency, absolutely.
Awesome. Now, one of the main things that we wanted to, so thank you for talking to us about finances, gambling, MMA. There are just two more topic matters at hand, and that's public and police corruption and crimes against women and children. Have you seen Cello Take a Left Cello, right?
Yes.
Have you
Spada?
Paul Blas, Maria Spada, Paul Blas.
Yeah.
Have you seen Cello Took a Left?
The parody or the meme?
No. The cop.
Amagun, or how you pronounce it?
Amagun made a
about the
comment.
cop that took a left.
Yes.
Yeah, let's play that video now.
Machechi.
Yes.
Is that Machechi?
Machechi.
Let's play that video now so everyone knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, he took a left for real.
Cello, stretch it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Coming over.
Okay. Sorry, I'm supposed to warn Eric before I do things like that. So,
It's okay.
a guy named AJ Mengiliman posted on Kandit a video that I don't know. I'm not sure if he took the video, but you can see it's taken from inside a car. You cannot tell if it's the passenger, driver who's taking whatever, right?
Yeah.
But he stopped, coming up to an intersection.
Right.
In front of him is a cop car. Right, and to the right in front of the cop car is a sign that says "No left turn." Very big, like it's in English.
Right.
You know, like there are members of the Guam legislature who would have no problem reading it, despite their lack of education. And
you'd have to be blind not to see that.
Yeah,
line,
exactly.
by the way.
And the cop takes a left.
Yeah.
While the guy's like, don't do it, buddy. Don't do it,
Yeah.
Popo.
Right. Don't do it. He's probably on the phone himself.
Yeah, maybe. So you got it. So he posted. Well, let's
I watched
watch it.
That
now.
was I think that was.
Okay, here we go.
No left turn. No left turn, right? I got this Popo right here. Gonna do a left turn. Don't do it, cop. You gonna be famous today. All right, he did it.
It has like tens of thousands of views already, right? And so we left it there. We didn't do a story on it or anything. But then Johnny sent me screenshots of a Jun Amaguin who was commenting on it. And when we were reading the comments, we were like, this guy is threatening police retaliation against the person who posted this video.
Wow.
The guy who posted that video is doing a public service to the rest of us.
And that should be allowed.
Absolutely. And so what does Jun Amaguin say? And Jun Amaguin is Efren or Irfin or something. Amaguin, that's his name. He's a Guam police officer. He's a corrupt cop. He was a member of the Mandania Drug Task Force.
Yeah.
Just another corrupt copper. Oh, you're already agreeing with us, man. We don't even need to ask you the question then.
No.
So he says, after he starts to refute this guy AJ, he says this type of shenanigan. He doesn't even speak good English or write good English. Will just entice the police to increase enforcement by issuing citations to motorists who make videos while driving, thinking they're doing a public service by exposing public officials in the act of committing minor traffic infractions, not taking into account blah blah blah. So if that's okay to him, that's okay. I hope
what else can be okay.
Yeah. Is he ticketing people for these minor infractions that police officers shouldn't have to abide by?
Yeah, that's not right, dude. That's saying that you're okay if your cops keep making mistakes. But there are very good cops in this in this department.
Yes, there are.
And
that's
actions of cops without respect for law, make good cops look bad.
Yes.
Amen.
And it was told to me that no one hates a bad cop more than a good cop.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because it's like one bad apple and the rest of the apple is just bad. If you keep that bad apple, the rest are gonna rot. But that's not exactly the right metaphor I was looking for. So.
I screw up metaphors all the time.
So what I mean is, if a cop can just be lawless, and the people notice it that he's being lawless, they're just gonna simply stick to one side. They're all lawless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take the FSM people, nothing racist. One bad FSM person, most people would just look. Those FSM people are messed up.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Not
I see what
that FSM
you're
guy.
saying. Yeah.
But those they just automatically side. It's like a racist person hating a black person for something he did, but he hated the whole race.
Yeah.
That's wrong in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's totally immoral.
Yeah. So, but in the case of this guy, what's his name? Jun Amaguin. Dirty cop. Everyone knows he's a dirty cop.
Can you make it the whole screen?
He's trying to justify it.
Yeah. Used to be in the Mandania Drug Task Force. The Guam Police Department has not responded to our question about, hey, what's up with this threat of retaliation by police officers to this guy who's posting a video. As a senator, how much of a priority is fixing this? It's not as bad as it is in the States, but it still is a problem.
It's bad.
This police
we have
corruption
our
issue.
pockets of things that happen, and some of it gets swept under the carpet. But I'm probably gonna get a ticket on the way home. But
But you would take the ticket and pay it, right?
Yeah, because I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I'm not gonna argue with the officer who's maybe picking on me because of what I have to say. It is what it is, and I'll deal with that when we get there. But to threaten a person who is only showing to the public that a cop's not willing to follow the rules, automatically you think all of them don't
No,
follow
but
the
also
rules.
people can think if he doesn't follow, if that
Why
cop
should
isn't-
I?
Why should I?
Yeah.
Right?
And if he could take a left turn, then I should take a left turn. Yeah. Left turn, shall go!
All right. One second. David Lebowski is asking if you have a website or a Facebook page.
Meno Franklin.
MenoFranklin.com?
No,
just the Facebook page.
Oh, Facebook. Meno
Meno
Franklin.
Franklin.
That's the one thing I need to start taking lessons in, is learning how to use, because it's going to be important. I mean, I know how to use basic, but to create stuff I don't have
You have staff for that. You also have a law person there.
But I do have a cousin who helped me out with some stuff that pop up on Facebook, just my slogan and my picture of my Sinai. And it's a start. There was some missing stuff, but it's something I can't do. I don't know how to do that. And he offered to help me. And he's my cousin. His name's Marvin. And he's going to be in my team. I win this election, he's definitely on board for those kind of things,
Hey, how can people common folk donate money to you for your campaign?
Either directly to me or...
You want to tell people your phone number? Or?
Yes, 488-2865.
488-28. Can we put that on the screen? 488-2865.
28665 spells bunk.
Nice.
488
God
bunk.
bless you. 488 bunk. Yeah. I love that.
You can't forget that.
So thank you for answering our question about police corruption. We got through our story on that. 2865. 488-2865.
2865.
Now let's talk about public corruption stemming from a story that we just published tonight about Bic Sobti. Guam businessman Gurvinder Bic Sobti. Bic is at it again. Documents that I forgot my documents. The documents that we've uncovered in the CNMI government show that it wasn't just $2.5 million in PPEs and medical supplies that he sold to the Commonwealth government at completely jacked up prices. There's also a second sole source contract that he received and was for the sale of 6 all-terrain vehicles. So the fancy, take it on off-roading type of ATVs,
all-terrain
right?
vehicle, like side-by-sides, they call them.
There's one called a Wolverine. Yeah, these are nice. I wish
those are almost the price of a car.
Well, if Bic is selling it,
if Bic is selling it,
it's the prices of a car. When Bic sells it to the CNMI government, they are car prices. So this is what this is what we. You know what? Can you guys just chat it up so I can get my
Yes.
so I can go with my documents? Yeah, because I need to guide myself. I'm sorry, but chat about this for a sec.
You know, for me, with contracts especially with safety equipment for a pandemic,
Yeah.
why only one company gets to make all that
They
money?
said they're the only ones that can provide it at that moment.
Well, he's not even a medical supplier
Yeah.
in the CNMI for
He's
one.
not even a
He sells
registered
clothes.
business in the CNMI.
He sells
no,
clothes.
he doesn't even sell clothes in the CNMI.
No,
Doesn't have a
no,
business
all I
license
know
there.
about him is Royal Bic. That's
Yeah.
the only, and then this comes up, and now I know a little bit more. But
Well, he also owns RPM Yamaha on Guam, not in the CNMI. He
Yeah.
owns RPM Yamaha.
Which his wife runs.
Yes, it's he puts it under his wife's name, but it's him. When you look at his
Sati,
previous government documents,
the wife is Sati, or
Yeah.
Satvinder,
Yeah.
Satvinder Soti. So anyway, on April 21, Bic sends a what do you call that? A price quote to the CNMI government for all these different Yamaha
2020s. Remember,
For-
he
for-
sends
yes.
the list of year 2020 ATVs.
Yes.
Under
Send that
and
to
they
me,
they
Chuck.
asked for the quote under a forklift.
Yes, he says it's for forklifts, but it's
Yes.
but what all none of these are forklifts. These are all ATVs.
wow, if I'd known those were
the-
forklifts, I would have bought one a long time ago.
Is that one the invoice or the quote? Oh, that's the quote.
Wow.
So look
Wow.
at what he quotes. He says for a Grizzly, that's one of those smaller ones, right? $12,500 each. The MSRP on that, I believe, was $10,499, if I'm not mistaken.
This one?
Is that's the Grizzly? Yes.
Grizzly, yeah,
Is the price on the bottom of that?
4-wheeler.
Beautiful. 10999.
$10,999. So he sold that for $12,500 each. A generous markup for the industry, but okay, lost
Still.
over that for a second.
Yeah.
Then he sold two different Wolverines. One was an X2 and one was an X4. The
Right.
X2 that he sold for $17,998. The MSRP is $12,699, and that's for
Wow.
2019. Oh, I forgot to tell you that the Grizzly that he sold at $12,500, that was a 2019 Grizzly, and the MSRP at $10,999 or whatever that was for 2020 Grizzly. Yeah. Then he but this is the really bad one. Two Kawasaki Mule 410 Trans 4x4. The MSRP on this is $10,299. Bic sold this to the CNMI government for $23,898. Yeah, $23,898. And those were the two vehicles that the Commissioner on Public Safety told the procurement people were the ones that were most needed, emergency, and
The
you know what
UTVs.
you know what the emergency was? That they had to use these vehicles to patrol the beach to make sure no one was on the beach. Yeah, I'm not lying. That's what they told. There's Gurvinder. And even though that was the emergency, it says in this price quote, available in 60 days. Now, one of the other egregious things about this is on the price quote, he charges $4,500 for shipping, which is already overpriced for shipping between Guam and Saipan. Already.
Yeah, that's
the-
mainland kind of prices or further.
More, more. In the invoice, he charges $7,889 hand docked to Saipan port. Amazing. This guy.
In a time of crisis, man, no morals.
Oh yeah,
no scruples.
nothing.
Power and money
that.
corrupts. Absolute, huh?
Ni hafefet. In the contract, it says it's checkmarked emergency, then checkmarked initial procurement. Even though RPM Yamaha is a DBA of International Royal, and he already had a contract, so he lied on this.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and then they put a price quote from Joten Motor Company because Joten was able to provide that Kawasaki, the Mule, a very similar product to the Mule,
Right.
and they were going to provide it at $16,995. Bic provided it at $23,998.
Wow.
Joten was able to provide it $16,995. It was in stock and it was 2020. Bic's was 2019.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
The first thing that I want to ask you is, As
Wow.
a Guamanian, are you not embarrassed that a Guamanian did this to the people of the CNMI? For real.
Like hiding my face walking through the airport.
I'm embarrassed.
To our sisters and brothers in the CNMI.
yeah.
The
you know?
people up there that are going to suffer from that. And
And this is
are.
his second
They're
rip-off of the
suffering.
CNMI government. The CNMI people.
well,
But Bunker, this is public corruption is no stranger to Guam. What the hell are you gonna do about it when you're a senator?
I think we got to take away. Well, the senators are in charge of setting policies, right? As for corruption, we got to take. What was that stuff I said a while back? We got to beat the bush, shake out the snake,
Okay.
right? And they're gonna attack.
So what does that mean?
The people with the power and the politically connected, well, insiders. If we set the policies where, like for example, vehicles, okay, we have one line agency with 25 different kind of vehicles for one. If I go to standardize that, I might receive resistance from AK or Cars Plus because the people inside are gonna. This is my best guess. On I'm not a politician, but we've been cheated, and
Yeah, you're right.
at the end of the day, we're all being cheated.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to taxpayers, especially people who are not well off, myself included. And when I pay my taxes, it goes to those type of unnecessary roughness in the government. As far as cleaning up corruption, it's going to be up to the 15 of us senators to work as a team and change policies. It's in the policies that need to be overhauled. It's free for all, and if nobody questions what's going on, nobody knows.
Well, right now, Bic Sobti, he was appointed by Governor Leon Guerrero to the airport board of directors. Right now, the legislature is mulling his confirmation to the airport board. How would you vote if you were a member of the legislature right now?
I definitely not vote for him.
Okay.
The other thing that I wanted to bring on to like stuff like this, why is it only him that gets to sell the product? They have a dealer up there in Saipan.
Yeah?
Yeah, plenty.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's dealers in Palau, for example. For that matter, eh?
Yeah.
Why, our Joey Crisostomo could have sold machines himself, right? But they didn't choose him.
I want to know how they thought to call a
Tailor.
Yeah, a guy who makes
company.
suits and rental. Yeah, right.
on Guam.
It's probably the amount of contributions to campaign or...
Well, thank you for raising that, because both RPM Yamaha and International Royal were campaign contributors to the Torres Palacios campaign.
In the CNMI.
So there you have it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, actually, there's probably more to the story than just
The
that.
rabbit hole is deeper than we can imagine, I bet.
And the CNMI
I have a
legislation.
question.
Yes.
Cannabis. Are you for it or
I'm totally
against
for it.
Okay.
I was a big part of it when it was medicinal,
Okay.
and I went to every hearing, and we voted unanimously, and it went for 2 years without any rules, regulations, or any provisions established. 2 years is a lot of time.
Yeah.
Especially when you can mirror these rules from state sites and other countries that have already been doing it.
Yep.
Their rules are simple. You don't do these certain things and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But we don't have that. Now we're at recreation legal. I played a part of that too. I went and spoke at the Tina Munya Barnes will be mutsu face when I speak. I'm just being honest. I spoke up and because she don't want the people to hear in a sense what's right to me. I mean, I might be just barking up the wrong tree on that, but the right thing to do, and they just sat on it for 2 years. We already said yes.
Well, look how long the adult
Slap
cannabis is taking.
Yeah, well, a year. Are you kidding me? We got Colorado, Washington, California, and most recently Illinois.
What do you think's holding them back? What do you think is holding the board back? Your personal opinion.
They're gonna probably try to make the whole thing go one direction.
Yeah.
I'm since we can't get it together, well, let's just appoint somebody who'll take care of it, and that's it. Oh, hey, Bic, you want to run this? Hey, man. I'm no fortune teller or nothing, but just seems to be the current business as is.
You got my vote, Bunker. I'm voting for you. Jacob Nakamura asks, why did Bic Sobti just last week call a very powerful lawyer on Guam and offer to give him, quote, investment money? Why is Bic trying to give his money away right now in the guise of an investment? Oh, we know why. Federal forfeiture laws got you worried, huh, Bic?
Yes. Make this go away. What would it take?
Oh, Evelyn's on. She said,
Evelyn,
right,
happy
Troy.
birthday.
Bunker want me to campaign for you? She's asking.
Yes, please. Let me know where you're going to be. I'll show up. You got my Facebook.
Yeah, David Lebowski wants you to update your Facebook. Please ask Marvin or whoever's helping you so people know who you are, what,
Right.
More pictures should come up about you running and,
Yes, I know.
And there's a lot of people asking for your phone number.
What our people of Guam don't know about me,
A lot of
Johnny
people are
and Troy,
asking.
is I'm on disability income. And, it takes a lot of money to purchase a lot of things for campaigning. And in my opinion, every vote casted is, you're a voter. I tell you, you tell me you're going to vote for me. I'm counting that you tell 3 other people that might tell 3 other people that, you know what I mean? So if we go on that alone, I think we can still pull this off. But I want to show up to ways.
I'm going to campaign for you, Bunker.
It just takes somebody who believes in you, telling people that believe in them, then they're going to tell somebody and pass it around. It's like sharing stuff on Facebook. It gets 1 million views.
I love this so much. I'm really enjoying this conversation.
It's the real deal, eh?
So now the last story that we have is a disturbing story. Well, it's the continuation of a disturbing story, and it's Rachel Mantanonia's story about how her father raped her. But it's not, the injustice against Rachel didn't end with her father raping her. It has continued in Gov Guam's lack of compassion and action to provide her justice where justice can be provided. Earlier today, Rachel sent me basically a testimony of hers of what happened when she decided that she was going to
When she had enough. Yeah.
And what she said is very alarming because, number one, the police officer who was handling her case, along with apparently a prosecutor, the Attorney General's office, were the ones who said there's nothing that could be done, when we know that that's not true, that there's at the very least an official misconduct complaint. Plus, they didn't ask her whether her father, since the statute of limitations passed, had ever threatened her to remain silent.
Or else.
Because apparently that's a reason enough to go back into the past and remain within the statute of limitations. If any time after that period lapsed, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, 3 days ago is when we asked Rolanda Faustua Malie, the spokeswoman of the airport, because John Canasta didn't answer the phone and Raymond Mantanona wasn't there.
Right.
Raymond Mantanona is Rachel Mantanonia's dad, the person who Rachel says raped her for a 4-year period.
Wow.
Between the ages of 12 and 16, between 2006 and 2010. He is the fire chief at the airport. And so we wanted to hear something from the airport director and from Raymond Mantanona himself. And so let's play the phone interview that we had with Rolanda.
It's like businesses, we did it, and what?
Yeah.
What you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
It almost seems like that with this government.
Stand by. Here we go.
This is Rolanda.
Hi, Rolanda. It's Troy.
Half a day, Troy.
Half a day. I know it's the end of Friday, and I'm very sorry to have to put this on you, but it's a very important story that we're working on. It has to do with airport fire chief Raymond Mantanona.
Okay.
All right. Is the airport aware of Guam Police Department closed criminal case 2020-18611 against Mr. Mantanona? 2020-18611.
Okay.
It's a report of criminal sexual conduct against Mr. Mantanona. Are you guys aware of that?
No, I'm not personally aware of it,
So
but I can check.
The Guam, yeah, can you check if the Guam Police Department contacted anyone at the airport about this case? So in a few minutes, I'm gonna send you a video testimony from Mr. Mantanonia's daughter, Rachel, who a few months ago filed a criminal complaint via Hawaii Police Department that was sent to Guam Police Department because Mrs. Mantanona lives in Hawaii. They put together a CSC complaint. It was forwarded to Guam Police Department. Guam Police Department, DART, the Domestic Assault Response Team, compiled a case against Mr. Mantanona, and she accuses him of raping her multiple times when she was a child living.
When is this 2020 1861? What was the date of that report, do you know?
I don't know the date, but this is a Guam Police Department. Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing I would like to get is
If we are aware.
if you're aware. Secondly, a comment from Mr. Mantanona, and third, a comment from Mr. Kanata.
Got it. Okay, 456 4237.
No, 4237.
4237. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Troy. Thank you very much.
Save my number, girl. Save my number.
Got it.
But
4237.
4237. But Rolanda, this
So
is
that was Friday, and I
very,
followed
yeah,
up
very
today.
urgent
Nothing from
topic,
the airport, nothing from the
especially
director,
for this-
Kanata, nothing from Raymond Mantanona. I don't expect that Raymond Mantanona will. I'll bet that starting tomorrow he'll be on personal leave. Anyway, so no one in GovGuam is saying anything except for Jane Flores, the director of the Bureau of Women's Affairs. So I brought this issue to Jane. I said, look, there's this issue. Are you working on anything, or is this something you can work on where there may be these victims from off island who are former residents who want to file criminal complaints, but the Guam Police Department does not have a consistent process to take their complaints.
Right.
And
Is it not consistent because they're covering for whoever in it because that's the family, or like what's the inconsistency, Troy?
It's hard to tell. Look with Larry Rupley. With Larry Rupley,
We had to push it.
and finally they made a process. But it was the only time that I've ever known of them to use a process like that. There have been other people who have tried to file complaints who were off island, not against non-police officers, right? And the police department just doesn't know
What they're
how
doing.
to do it. They haven't updated whatever. And so Jane Flores, she said, please give Rachel my number. I want to work with her. So she does want to work through this
great.
process.
All
The,
right,
the
all
director of the Bureau of Women's
Finally,
Affairs,
some
Jane
kind
Flores. Yeah, because this woman, Rachel, and Johnny's going to read what she wrote in just a bit. She has been dicked around by the system here on Guam. And at every turn, except for Jane Flores, at every turn, she's been getting resistance. She had a very hard time trying to file a police report.
Wow.
She got a temporary restraining order in Hawaii. The order was sent to Guam, and Guam would not serve the TRO on Mr. Mantanona.
Wow.
And so I don't know. She's just running into resistance at every turn. And maybe it'll be more clear. Can you read what she wrote?
Below explains the complete process on how we moved forward with building a case from Hawaii, HPD, that ended up going nowhere once it was received to Guam Police Department. I reached out to Varo in Guam in the beginning because I didn't know where to start in the first place. First off, Varo were very, very helpful with me. The young man that was so helpful, so supportive of my situation as I explained what I need assistance with. They pointed me in the right direction on who to file a complaint with, which in my case is HPD. I called 911 in Hawaii to report a non-emergency complaint, and HPD showed up and took my statement, which was then forwarded to the detective of the appropriate department. The detective then got a hold of me, scheduled for a complete video and audio interview, which ended up being the first hardest step for me to explain to a complete stranger on what happened to me so many years ago. One important information that I did not have to move forward with the case was an official ID of Raymond Mantanona, which obviously I did not have. This was provided to HPD a few days later once they established communication with GPD. I then had to go back to the precinct to meet with the detective on the case to fill out a form and to confirm Raymond Mantanona's identity. Once this was done, it was a waiting game to put together the case before it was forwarded to GPD. In the meantime, I decided to file a temporary restraining order, TRO, against Raymond Mantanona and the family at the family court in Hawaii, which was granted the same day. I forwarded the information to HPD detective, who forwarded it to Guam, who was then told the restraining order forwarded by him could not be served to Raymond Mantanona. And in that order for a restraining order to be served to him, we had to file with the Supreme Court of Guam, which couldn't have been done online, but I didn't move forward with it because I wasn't sure if I had to appear in court or not for the restraining order. The only reason I would have went to Guam was to testify in court for the case, not for one restraining order only. We may live in different locations, but the reason why I wanted to file a restraining order was because I wanted to do everything in my power to keep him away from me and my family. And I did fear, and I still do fear, that with Raymond Mantanona's temper, he will harm me and my family regardless where I live. Later on, the detective gave me a brief phone interview from my fiance, Donovan, then forwarded the case to GPD. After not hearing from GPD for a week or two, I reached out through email to find out the status of the case. The reply back to me from GPD email ended up being the most disappointing news because I thought we had done enough to build a solid case, especially the way HPD conducted their investigation. This is what ultimately led me to reach out to Kandit News Group because I needed my story to be heard and to come out. I wouldn't expect that after all we had done out here with HPD, GPD would close the case as fast as they did. My biggest frustration in all of this was finding out from you, Troy, that an official misconduct charge is a possibility because it was not long ago that Larry Rupley went through the same situation that I did. I don't understand how GPD could miss this charge twice on a government of Guam official with a serious accusation against them such as rape. My second frustration is, after being told that the case was closed, all I was provided with was a reference number to my closed case. No resources were given to me in coping with this type of trauma or anything. How is it that HPD went out of their way to provide a victim with the resources, but GPD couldn't? At the end of the day, I truly want justice and for Guam to have a better process in helping sexual assault victims, considering the high rate of sexual assault on our island of Guam. Rachel Mantanona.
Wow. What are you gonna do to protect the women and children of Guam?
So I think we should create a program that will offer protection when they come forward, because a lot of them are in fear of the perpetrator. Like Rachel's case, she's afraid and just kept quiet all these years. I think we should form a policy and a program that it's an open door, and if you come out, even if it's a few years later, it should. I don't think there should be a statute of limitation on rape.
There's none anymore. Unfortunately, the last rape that took place in this case was just days before the statute of limitations was lifted. So it didn't count.
Yeah. And that's too bad.
Yeah.
But there was still a charge that he could still be charged, and GPD skipped it.
You know, it could be the Al Capone case. He was a mafia guy and he went to jail for tax evasion.
And so that's,
put him in jail one way or the other. Put him in jail.
And so
find a window
that's
that
the
allows
passion that our justice system is lacking.
No passion in making sure that no matter what it takes. And I mean that if he threatened her and she's in fear of her life, we lock him up for that. Put him away. Mm-hmm. He raped her, but we couldn't prove it. But all the other assault, we just gotta protect the victims and then prevent. Kind of like a CPS version for victims.
Oh, like what do you call that? Law and Order?
Yeah.
SVU.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would
I
that
would be totally for creating SV, especially
and funding something like that?
And yes.
Jacob,
Why are we
now-
paying rent? Why don't we pay for that instead of rent? They got a space over here that they tore down the old former building. Remember that?
Yeah.
Doesn't that still belong to the people of Guam?
I don't know.
I need to look into that. But my idea is
Yes, it does belong to Guam. Yes.
So why are we renting ITZ?
So the owners of ITZ can make money.
Well, that's the answer to that question. But my idea is kill that rent, consolidate a lot of the line government agencies into one building, the size of GCIC, build it there on both sides. You know what I mean? And connect it by.
Oh, there
boardwalks.
there actually is a plan for that. The Governor Cavill implemented that Governor Luliang Guerrero has stopped.
Yeah, because it takes away from
Her money.
Party contributions.
Jacob Nakamura says, "Look at that! The first female governor, and this woman still can't get help for her case being a rape victim." Then says, "And the AG Christine Tenorio turning it away in one phone call with Guam police. She couldn't even bother to look further or speak to the victim. If she had, she would have found out that the threats and intimidation to keep her quiet occurred after March 2011, which would move her case into the area where there is no statute of limitations. Do your damn job, Christine," says
Wow.
Jacob Nakamura. Al Borja says, "I cannot stop crying for Rachel since the so great candidate released the exclusive news." Roslyn and Michael Cruz say, "Big air hugs, Rachel." Jacob says, "The elements of the rape, including the threats and intimidation, continued after March 2011, so there is no statute of limitations." That would be a very big deal for Rachel Mantanona.
And justice served.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope and pray that Jane Flores knows this, gives her to the right people, and they get the charges started against Mr. Mantanona.
You would think because the governor is a female that she would automatically want to seek justice for this person, especially she's in charge of us, right? She's the boss.
Yeah.
Bang, okay, I've had it. You people fix this now. Put that guy in jail, investigate this to the highest, get the FBI if you have to, but do something. Because she's a woman, she should know.
Well, because she campaigned as the, I'm going to be here for women. And
I'm
all
your
that
voice.
stuff, right? Yeah.
I know your struggle.
This is my island, Ray.
Rebecca Wacky says, "Too much of this evil crap happens here."
Marvin Martinez is asking if your laptop's okay.
Yeah. You saw that?
Yeah.
You saw that?
Eve says you guys worked at SS
Neptune. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. That's how we met.
And she says she's a half Democrat, half Republican.
So you're a Republican? Just joking.
Vivian,
left wing, right wing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vivian Rosario says, "Still no justice for my son Kenneth, who was kidnapped and stabbed by Angelica Starpain and Manuel Camacho Babalza." You know, Vivian, GPD still has not responded to our constant follow-ups of, what's up with the rest of these guys. Like, I'm baffled by everything.
I have my own little story with GPD.
Tell it.
Got the police clearance place.
On the
just
bottom floor of
recently
ITC?
when I was getting my clearance.
Okay.
Given that I'm a ADA, I have little privilege to go ahead, but I don't feel, even though I am a disabled person, I feel terrible about the people who've been there since 6 o'clock in the morning, standing in line all the way outside. No chairs, no shade, all the way inside. 4 or 5 people handling one person coming in. 2 people at the counter, and it takes an hour to process 2.
There's big process improvements that can happen in Guam for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, why are the 3 of you looking at a screen laughing over there when the 2 of you can come over here where there's 6 other windows that could provide 2 more and make it 4 an hour?
Yeah. Did
you
yell?
I came in, I sat down. They said, "Go over there and sit down." They made me wash my hands, sat down. And then, "Hey, did they catch your name?" I said, "No, you guys just told me to wash my hand and come sit down." No instructions, just to taking my name pre-hand. And then they kicked us out for sanitation, right? They were going to fumigate the place or whatever they did. It was probably lunch break for that matter. But they kicked us out. They went outside and they said, "I need a chair." kicked off the person from the seat to give me a seat when they could have just pulled one out, right? Then I asked the question, why don't you people have chairs at least inside here, 6 feet apart, to bring some comfort for them standing out there for hours?
Yeah.
2 people an hour. So in 6 hours, only 6 people. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
There's 30 people outside, and
So
then
they were
some-
handling one person every 10 minutes?
or more.
No way.
30 minutes.
6 people in 1 hour?
I was there for almost 2.5 hours, dude. Okay, but when I first got there, I was inside already. Nearly 20 minutes, 30 minutes went by. Nobody's being called. There's people inside. Nobody's being called.
Also, less than 6 people in 1 hour.
Yeah, so then they took us out, right? And then while we're sitting out there, good, maybe another almost an hour already. Finally, one, blah blah blah, and gave it to him. Then he went away. Then we went back in after 40 minutes, and maybe 10 minutes goes by, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I said, I just have a question. I just have a question. Why is it that it takes you people an hour to process 2 people? What? That was the reaction I got. Like, huh? You know? And it was the sergeant in charge, a female, came out and, you're harassing, go outside. And they kicked me out.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I said, you know, you people are being paid to serve, and you're not doing much on the serving side of things.
You know, if that was me, you know, like if someone was rude to me like that, on, you know, especially I'm the customer, I'd be like, look, lady, I don't care if your husband is having an affair right now. You know?
Right. What in the pandemic crisis are we doing here?
You know, there's no reason for you to be talking to me like that.
Right.
Because I wasn't the one who's blowing up your husband's phone. So
Yeah.
you just leave your attitude at the door, okay?
Are you going through something? And so I can understand why you're getting mad.
No, but Bunker, that's a process improvement issue. That's within the realm of the governor.
In the entire all our government agencies have room for improvement.
Yeah, and that's something that the governor needs to handle. Now, the
Yeah.
senators can be like, yo, governor, what is going on? Why is it taking so long
and
in these lines?
some of them are no help.
Yeah. But would you be loud to the governor? As a
Absolutely.
senator, would you say,
Yes.
what's up, governor?
If I was a senator right now, I would have went down there and made a bunch of noise about, you got 117 million right now. Why aren't you passing out the $1,200 checks?
And I think that's what some people miss about people like Ben Pangilinan and Angel Santos. You know, the senators who were there and they
stood up.
They said
Yes.
something
Yes.
to the governor at the time. You
I
know?
won't be quiet. I promise that.
Okay.
I can't promise you any kind of. I can't promise people what I want to do, because I hope not to be stifled. Because if you go against the grind, you're gonna run into some issues.
Sure.
Right. So in the 36th legislature, we're gonna need at least 10 like-minded. It's paramount that we get at least 10 people like-minded. Might not necessarily agree on some areas.
Sure.
But if we can agree on one thing, we can change it. And that's stand up to the administration when their lack of action. This pandemic was a show of the true colors.
Cool. You got the...
Oh, yeah.
That's my opinion on that. And I will not be quiet.
This is the other fun. Actually, this whole interview's been
I
fun.
know, I loved it.
Yeah, so this is
When I'm buried
the cake.
6 feet under, that's when it's going to be silent.
Not for a long time.
Yeah. I don't plan to check out anytime soon.
What is your all-time favorite song? Oh, wait. Oh, no,
Oh.
after this, right?
No, we have to get rid of that. Remember that they're not supposed to have the same one?
Not supposed to have this. I don't know. Eric put that
you
in
have to
there.
pick again.
One more time.
Good thing you changed that, because, man, I like all the genres. So I can't really
Yeah?
pick a favorite. I
Not
mean,
even a Tomorrow song's your favorite?
tomorrow's song would be Casey's. I can't remember the title, but if you play it,
Yeah.
I'm bad with lyrics. And
Who is your hero and why?
wow, that's a good question. Michael St. Nicholas,
Right on. Why?
because I watched some of interviews and sessions, and I think we got a lot of things happen because he was over there doing his job. That's in my opinion.
I wonder if he's watching.
If I go to the booth on August 29, I'll be basing my decisions on the actions when I choose them to represent the people, and the lack of action when I decide to vote them out. That's going to be my. That's what. So I think truly Mike Nicholas took the opportunity to do what's right, and that's with the COVID, and with public corruption, bro. I think you're the hero.
No.
Because you if you didn't do the things you did, there are so many people that wouldn't know what's going on.
You know who the heroes are? Our sources.
And
They
hats
are
off
the
to
heroes.
them.
Yeah.
Okay. And our public safety officers who were shafted, they're our heroes. And the nurses and doctors at the hospital. For this COVID process, those guys were true heroes, man. There's a reason why they take that job. Because that's their passion.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. If we lost the budget to pay them for the next 2 weeks, I'll bet a lot of them will still show up.
Yeah. I bet you too.
That's where I'll wager that they will still show up to work, because they didn't work as a nurse to have a better living. They worked as a nurse because they have a passion to help people. And you can tell when a nurse is that they're there for the passion of the job. When you become a patient like myself, you can find out which nurse is there for the paycheck and which nurse is not. And there's 9 out of 10, in my opinion, that are there for not for the money, but for the job.
I knew one nurse who was there for the money, and it was because...
And I met one.
Yeah, we used to do drugs together all the time. She would go straight into work. I'd be like, what are you doing?
Call in sick or take administration leave or quit.
So Bunker, this is your...
This election on August 29, 2020. My name is Franklin J. Meno, a.k.a. Bunker, number 7 on the Democrat ballot. I humbly ask for your support. I will not promise anything for you guys, but I will be your voice and stand up for you. I am not a career politician, so I have a lot of learning, and that's life. You learn every day something new, and I'm driven to do what's right because I'm fed up of everybody being hurt, and this COVID-19 exposed the true colors of the people we look up to or are supposed to take care of us. Before I say too much, Guam si Franklin J. Meno, Bunker, Tautaway South, grassroots. I come from humble beginnings. Hokoka tiningo man padesi tori Tautaw Guam. Za mastak kilo gi tano Guam. Taza pedanya poni na juda hamzo. Guau bay choki tori na sinyaw. Bay na siguro naman maulik mo na ifamagun. Jan toro Tautaw. Hatsa tori Tautaw. With teamwork, the dream works. And together we can.
Biba Bunker.
Biba Bunker.
Biba Bunker.
One more time, your phone number, so people can call you to donate.
If you like to donate, you can donate to me directly by calling me at 488-2865. Or if you want to meet in person, we just arrange the time and date, and we can meet.
Cool.
And
but to easily remember that.
488 Bunk.
To easily remember my number, ladies and gentlemen, 488 BUNK, 488 Bunk.
One last question.
Yes.
Trump or Biden?
Well, we can't vote so for president, but I think Biden lost his rocker.
I vote for Michael St. Nicholas.
Michael St. Nicholas should be the president. Joe Biden lost his rocker, and our current president there's not much in there.
For Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
And this is Biba Bunker. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.